It's time for Dents and Dreams, a paintless dent repair podcast focusing on how you can use the fruits of this wonderful trade we call PDR to achieve your wildest dreams. I'm John Bideen, your friendly neighborhood dent reaper and host of Dents and Dreams. Now, let's get started. Let's get started indeed. Today I have none other than one of my favorite guys in the whole PDR world. The man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Bunt, a.k.a. at Dent Guy Rye. Follow him, and you'll enjoy it. But Dent Guy Rye, how the heck are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, John. How are you?
You know I'm good. Just excited to finally get you on here and have a little fun, talk some dents, and see what comes to be here. But why don't we get started by kind of telling people who you are if they don't know who you are? When did you get started in PDR and how all that came to be?
Okay. I started in PDR. Well, I guess I grabbed my first tool, first pushed on metal. It was about 3 years ago, March of 2017. No, that'd be 2020.
2018.
I think it was 2018 then. Yeah, it must have been 2018. And that's when I started. I was a Toyota technician. I wasn't really that advanced of a technician. I wasn't doing crazy jobs or anything, but they came to me, one of my managers, and asked if I wanted to learn PDR. I said yes. And I didn't really get professional training, I think you'd call it. I was trained by a guy who went to some type of training for a few days, and then I was kind of put on my own. And I just kind of had to teach myself a lot, and I owe a lot of that to it was the Dentless Touch I started watching, and the Real World PDR, just the free videos that were out there. A lot of that really helped me just start to grasp the concept more. Because when you start pushing dents, you really think you got it in the beginning. You think you're understanding it, but then the more you go, and when you don't put out this perfect work that you see other people do, you know there's something you're not getting somewhere along the line, and it's been a crazy learning experience.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's the frustrations of the early days are they are still fresh in my memory, even 10 years, 11 years later now. So I can relate. So yeah, and then at some point while you were still at J Wolf, I don't know how we met, like basically via Instagram, I think.
Yeah, it was Reaper rods. Yeah, it was the Reaper rods because I ordered them. I was so excited to order them. I remember when you first put out the video for them, I was like, oh my God, I got to get them. So I was saving up my money, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I did the pre-order, and then I was waiting for them, and they never showed up. And then you were like, hey, you can give me a call. And I'm like, oh my God, I can call John? Cool. All right. And that's when we first talked.
Yeah. And many good conversations since then. So sorry about the delay on your Reaper rods, but it kind of worked out. Kind of worked out for both of us.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
Oh yeah, it was worth it.
For sure. Yeah. So then couldn't have been too long after that. It was the second PDR World Cup in Branson. I was hanging out, and you were gonna try to get down there, but I think you had to work or something was in the way and you couldn't make it down there. But we were talking, and I think I talked to you for a couple hours when I was driving down, and then either way you ended up sending me this picture for this bad boy.
Yeah,
the Reaper Claw, which also became the Reaper Tier as we discussed some more options and what have you. But yeah, you sent me that picture, and I was standing there with John Callenbach when you sent it to me, and things have evolved from there, for sure, for sure. But it's pretty cool. I mean, you were basically, what, a year and a half into your PDR career, and now there's a tool on the market because of you. So I don't know if that's feather in your cap. I feel like it could be. I like that tool. I use it a lot, so thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. No, it's my pleasure. I couldn't believe that it even came to fruition as quick as it did. I mean, I can't believe how close it is to my actual little, I don't know, 20-second drawing I sent you. That, I mean, I wish I would have, been able to fine tune it a little more. There are other little changes, but you were like, hey, man, it's done. And I'm like, what? But it was great.
Yeah. Well, and we won't get into all the R&D with that, but yeah, there was.
Oh, it's, yeah.
There was, with a whale tail like that, because of the way it's built, it makes it harder to do as many iterations as we did with like the Executioner, which we'll get into that later. We don't want to get into that just yet. But while we are on tools, before we get into your full story here, I want to just see, do you have any new tools that you've been working with that you've been really liking lately?
Well, I mean, of course, I've liked using the Executioners and going through that whole process with them. That's been great. But the whole time pushing hail lately, I have to say it's the Excalibur hood and deck set. The mini hood and deck set is the thing I think you have to have, is the mini hood and deck set. I just can't say it enough. I mean, you really, if you don't have it, you can get the job done. It's fine, but just the places they go, I see other guys that don't have them. They don't really struggle. I don't know. They'll still get them, get to the spots, but it just seems like it's so much easier and so much more precise and so much more exact every push.
Yeah.
And it's really got to be the mini hood and deck set. And I also like his new upper door brace tool set. There's a 3-piece set. There's an orange and black handle and the 2 blue handles. They all really seem to get in. If there's ever holes up there, they get where I need them to go if I got to use out of those 3.
Yeah.
But there's a big selection with those tools as well right now. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
On the market.
I have that mini hood and deck set. I don't have those upper brace ones, but yeah, that mini hood and deck set is lifesaver for sure. And as long as we're on tools, I got to give a shout out. Let's see if I can get this in here just right. To my guy Matt Boyette over at Dent Slayer. He sent me some gear and some stickers and some cool stuff. I have the original Dent Slayer, and then for VTE, I ordered the new XL. So I haven't put this one to work just yet, but very excited to. So. And yeah. So all these tools that we're talking about today, I think you can get them all at A1, PDRTool.com, and anything Dent Reaper, obviously. But we won't get too much into that side of the whole thing.
The one thing I do got to say, though, about the whole Dent Reaper and the, Executioners and the Excaliburs and everything is, if you have the mini hood and deck set, for me, the AKs, or if you like the APs, whatever you like in terms of the design, they complement each other. Because if you have somewhere that the mini hood and deck set can't get to, the AKs will get there. But now with these new Excaliburs, or Executioners, I'm sorry. With the new Executioners, I'm sorry, I was saying too much at once. With the new Executioners, those can take the place of the AKs, if that makes sense. So now all you really need is a mini hood and deck set and the Executioners, and now you have a great set, and you can choose to do the different types of pushes with the Executioners. And then if those can't curl around or get in somewhere, you have your mini hood and deck set. I was trying to explain that better. That's kind of been my setup, as I had an assortment of AKs in different sizes and lengths. But now with the new Executioners, that's kind of replaced many of my AKs that I would use in just about all the situations. So I just wanted to add that in about the tools while we were on it. So that there's still a place for the executioners with the mini, because I think some guys might be confused. They see this and they're like, "Oh my God, what do I buy now?" There's so many choices out there, all these different sizes and lengths and everything, and there's still a place for everything. I believe.
And I think, I mean, everybody's got their own style, and they're gonna use different tools that suit them for that particular situation. I still have all my AKs on my cart. My hood cart is ridiculous at this point. There is a lot of tools on it, but I find myself using them all. So between the hood and deck set, the AKs, the executioners, I would recommend them all to anybody, and just depending on your situation, your style, there's I've never complained because I had too many tools, and I buy a lot of tools. So, but everybody's got their own way. So, yeah, after you showed me this beauty and we made that thing happen, then you had a lot of changes going on in your PDR career, if I remember correctly. Why don't you walk us through, kind of tell the story how you came to end up leaving the dealership you were with, and where your journey is taking you from there.
Well, basically at the dealership I was at, I think it was maybe through corporate or something like that. They kind of decided to dissolve my position, just make it not exist anymore. They gave me options to go back to working on cars, or really, whatever else there. But I really love pushing dents. It's something I just fell in love with when I first did it. I love the end result. It's just, I think everything I've done my whole life kind of led me into this, and it's what I want to do forever. So, I just decided that's when I should start my own business. Actually, but before I did that, I did go to work for a local guy, really nice guy. Worked for him for a little while, and it just didn't work out. I just wanted to do it all myself, and he's since been a good guy to talk to for me. I've called him a few times, referred some business to him, and he's always been a good person to talk to. But in March of 2020 is when I started Samurai Dent Repair, and it's kind of a crazy year. It's hard for me to think how everything happened in just 1 year, the places I went and everything, but it was a lot of fun and a lot of hard work too. But
yeah. So when you first started the Samurai, you were doing more local work. You were doing some wholesale work. I know you did some retail jobs. And then,
I had the Google page, which I still do, and I still get calls off of without somehow using the AdWords, which is great. But I had that going, and then I went around to some dealers, rocklots, I guess you call them, and I had some fun encounters with some guys, some sales managers or whatever you want to call it, different places that, with prices and this and that. And St. Louis is a pretty cutthroat place for paintless dent repair. If somebody doesn't know somebody that hasn't done it their whole life, or bought this place, there's always a story with paintless dent repair in St. Louis, I've found, with just about everybody in this industry, or they know somebody, or they might even own like a few body shops. Yeah.
A lot of the old school training, a lot of it happened in Missouri, or near St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there is a lot of old school guys out of St. Louis, and it's weird. Like, I feel like I meet or hear of another one almost every time I turn around. But
so I found it wasn't easy to just go out there and start just making a killing. Hey, look, here I am. I do this. It's not that impressive, in St. Louis. So.
Right. So then what happened? I mean, after you tried your hand at running the local business for a while, and then you ended up deciding to hit the Hail Trail. How did that all come about?
Yeah. Well, I actually got a call. I got a call from Randy Hobson. He worked here locally for Dents Express before, and he had seen me online. I had my Instagram, and I had actually, so the dealership I was at, someone at Dents Express that works there. He's the Dent guy that would work for J Wolf Toyota. He would do their cars. I basically took his business when I became J Wolf's Dent guy. Um, so Randy knew about all of this, and I think either way, we kind of were friends, I guess, because over time, we all got to know each other and we were cool with each other. And Randy called me to go out there and just see what I could do. He told me, "Hey Ryan, this is the worst hail I've ever seen in Jefferson City, March of last year. I'm sure everybody's aware of it. A lot of guys that I've talked to are very aware of the damage there, and it was horrific." And I came in there and I had my tools. I pulled up in my 2002 Caravan, and I rolled my tools in this plastic cart, and which there's nothing wrong with a plastic cart. I mean, there's amazing things you can do with them, but I get all in there and I see this car, and it was just terrible, the damage on it, and I start with the hood, which I shouldn't have, because I wasn't suited for hail. When I look back at how I looked at cars then and everything, I started on side panels, and it was terrible from the get-go. And I ended up actually, after that first car, I finally got it done with some help of a guy that came in, John Matthews, Todd Dickerson, and Garrett Van Camp actually got a hold of him, or he got a hold of them, whatever, and he came in to help me. And after the first car, Randy's like, "Hey, look, I got to let you go. And I understood, it was too much for me. And either way, it was a great experience. And I think now if I were to go to a place like that, I know speed wouldn't be the best, but at least I'd be able to get through a panel. Where before I did not know. I didn't know. I mean, some of the side stuff I could do, but the hood I was lost on. I had to just stop and work on the actual vehicle. And when John Matthews showed up, he could actually finish the hood. I mean, besides the crap that I had already screwed up on it, it made it look terrible. He did the best he could with it.
Dude, man.
But
It's I think it's cool that you'd even bring it up. I mean, obviously for a lot of guys getting it, especially early in your career, you're gonna have, stumbling points, and
oh yeah.
It's not easy, especially in the beginning. It's not an easy trade to get a hold of, and I obviously wasn't there, but everything I've heard, and yeah, that was an epic storm. So
Yeah, it was a dealer that we had to do the hoods, the roofs, everything, the rails, they all had to be done to whatever extent. I mean, there were guys there, I'm sure they'll be watching this, that and they were doing an amazing job, and I was just speechless seeing the work that they do. Also, I met Jason Gray there. He was a great guy.
Yeah. So now, did Todd Dickerson? Because he has a his Facebook group, PDR Tips from the Trash Can. Now, did he fix it good? Because they weren't paying.
He actually
for
did.
That. They weren't paying for that, Todd.
He fixed it as good as it needed to be fixed. It was good, but it wasn't that good. All right. So, I mean, come on. I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but he knew what he was doing. I mean, there's a video. Randy has a video of his work. I mean, he did a great job on that roof.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
And I know his trash can tips are
yeah, I know, it's great.
Just hilarious and definitely tongue in cheek, but I love all that stuff.
I love it too.
Yeah. So after you leave Jeff City, what happens then?
Oh man, so I left Jeff City, and I just had my tail tucked between my legs and head on home. And then I get a call. I was actually going to go to this wholesale job, and which kind of was what I was at the first time. It was a wholesale job with the dealership with Randy, but this was a different one, and I can't remember where it was, if it was Texas or what, but I actually got a call from Tyler Hutchins. Um, Tyler and Cole were working at a body shop in Illinois, and Tyler said I could come, work with them there. And I instantly said yes, and I didn't go do that wholesale job I was going to go take on. And that ended up being one of the best decisions I made, I think, the whole year. I think the first day he had me come back to his house, and Tyler gave me this older Ultra Dent Tools cart, which is still, an awesome cart, and I use it to this day, and I can't thank him enough for it. And then he gave me a few Mark Circus rods and a couple other random tools, and just a lot of really good knowledge. I mean, Tyler and Cole, they're just wonderful, wonderful brothers that just I can't say enough good stuff about them. I mean, if anybody that's worked with them, they know just how much positivity they have, how fun they are. They're the best guys you could know. I think some of the best in this industry, really. If you ever have a chance to work with them, just don't pass it up. That's all I can say.
Hot diggity. You make me want to call him right now. Well, I got no
You do.
hail
You
I
should.
got no hail here yet.
Well, give them a call if you do.
For sure, for sure. So you went and worked with those guys in Illinois. How was that for you? I mean, obviously, you got nothing.
So that was,
to say about.
well, that was the first time I had to actually focus on my quality, go back to quality work. Cause then, Tyler's there like, hey, Ryan, you got done with this door, right? And I said, yeah. He's like, okay, well, here. And he turned his light on. He's like, now look at that. Do you see anything, Ryan? And I looked at the door and I said, oh, yeah, every dent I just worked on, I can kind of see there a little bit. I better keep going on that. Yeah, Ryan. So then I realized, hey, okay, cool. I got to do really good quality. This is awesome, which that's what I like to do. It's what I want to do. And he made me focus on my quality. And I guess he kind of gave me a glimpse at the way PDR, I want to say, quote unquote, should be done. Instead of, seeing people at a wholesale job where it's like, hey, get it up, rip it up and go, and, make it look flat and go. It's not the same. And that lasted for a little while there over in Illinois with them. And I then actually, through Tyler, got in touch with Rodney Vance, who then got me in touch with Spencer Roten, who is the owner of Louisiana Dent Doctor. So after being in Illinois for a while, I then traveled all the way down to southern Louisiana. So that was my next big venture last year. And I don't have dates for this. Yeah, that was a good drive. And for my O2 Caravan, she drove. She made it. She made it.
Old Bessie. Lots of praying.
Yeah.
Lots of praying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. John, you rode around in her for a little bit. And, man, she made it. Well, I got there and I worked with Spencer, and gosh, I can't remember who else I was there with, because there was one of Spencer's buddies that was there, and he's been pushing hail for a while, and a great guy. I cannot remember his name. And he's not on, I know he's on Facebook, but I never see him posting or in any of the groups or anything. But either way, if he sees this, hopefully he'll say something. But they were all great people there. I didn't get to meet everybody at Spencer's shop or anything, but did a few hail cars there. And
I should mention this now. Those guys are doing a meetup, and I think it's going to be actually the 6th of March. Down the Bayou Dent Tech meetup, and if anybody's looking to go hang out, I'm sure it'll be a good time. I'm not going to be able to make it. He texted me actually this weekend, and I gotta get back to them, but I'm not going to be able to make it down there. But and as long as we're talking about events, Push Metal's workshop is March 19th through the 21st. So I would highly recommend anybody get to any and every event that you can, especially these smaller ones. It's really good networking, and I guess that would kind of, we won't disrupt your story too much. We'll get back to the Bayou here, but you did make some connections at another event that we attended, the Real World PDR workshop, and that'll come full circle in a little bit. But get to the events, guys. Any and all that you can make, get there. It's worth every second of your time. So anyway, you're down there in the Bayou with Spencer and the guy's name you can't remember. Bayou Billy, we'll call him maybe.
Oh, no. Well, he didn't live there. He doesn't live down in the Bayou.
Oh, okay.
That's just.
He's just a chaser. Chaser that ended up there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he lives just a little bit north from there. God, I can't even remember the state. But either way. So I pushed a few cars down there with them and did some retail stuff. Really had a good time and left there, went back home. And then I got a hold of Michael Casper. Or he got a hold of me, one of the two. I might have messaged him. And he ended up having a wholesale gig in Texas he was going to. And he literally came, because now I didn't think old Bessie was going to make another trip down south. So I was worried about her. And Casper actually came and picked me up in his truck, and we packed all of our stuff in his truck. So we had every cubic inch of his truck full. I mean, all we could do was sit in the front seat, and there was no room anywhere in the bed or his bed barely shut with the top on it. And we made it there. And again, that was just a terrible damage. It wasn't as bad as Jefferson City, but it was bad. And I was able to, do a little more, but he's pretty quick compared to me, really fast. So he was doing much better looking work quicker than me. And it is what it is. I guess you just got to watch these guys go around you. And some guys, it's something in this industry I've found is that people, if they see that you're really trying and really giving it your all, a lot of times these guys, sometimes they might want a different percentage of that, but sometimes these guys will just split stuff with you and be like, it's all right, I get it. And it really means a lot. I mean, even if they do take a higher percentage than you, or the fact that they're even giving you, if they're doing 60-40 with you or something, it still means a lot. If you're sitting there only doing one panel and they go through the whole car, it means something.
I experienced some of that earlier on in my career, and it is a really humbling feeling. And I can say, just from being around you, I guess we've never worked a storm or anything like that together, but I know your give a damn meter is always pinned in the red, and you're always going for the best you can do. And I mean, that kind of attitude goes a long way. And obviously everybody you've worked with has seen that as well. And just whatever. I don't want to turn this into me kissing your butt all day, but yeah, you have a great attitude and a great work ethic. So that'll take you a long way in any industry, let alone just PDR. But anyway. So you're working with Casper down in San Antonio?
Yeah. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. Yeah, San Antonio, Texas, exactly where we were. We were enjoying the Whataburger there just about every day. I'll never forget that, and I miss it so much. And we were there actually not too long, maybe a week and a half. We had this Airbnb, and I'll tell you, I know there's always these stories, but I had to do some research on roaches and roach babies because I knew I saw something here at this place. Because we'd come in there like, what are these little guys? What are these things? And Mike's like, oh, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, no, man, I gotta know what's up. And I was like, these are little babies of something I'm seeing. And sure enough, they were roach babies. And I think I don't know. Hopefully he got a refund. I don't know, but we ended up leaving there early because it hailed in Champaign, Illinois, which I'm sure many guys know about. And we went back to Champaign, Illinois for a retail thing that he had set up with a friend. And I went there and worked with him for a little while. And yeah, that was an experience. We basically had a shop that we basically kind of set up a shop and had the whole retail thing with the numbers set up and flyers being put out and a couple salesmen going around. And it was interesting, to say the least. And I ended up actually talking to good old Tyler Hutchins again while I was there. And he was in Illinois working for Dent Smart. And he actually invited me over to work with him again. And I took him up on the offer and went actually pretty close to where I was with Michael Casper, and went over there and actually worked at a dealer with him, Shannon Carricker and Joe Stonish. So
Yeah.
that was
Shout out to Joe Stonish. He beat me in bags at PDR World Cup. So he won up to me. He won up me there, and I'm sure would do so with a dent tool in his hand too. But anyway, so you're doing hail there for Dent Smart. That's the first time you ever did anything with Dent Smart?
I want to say yes. Yeah, that would be the first time I ever did anything with Dent Smart. Now, I had talked with Dent Smart earlier in the year, right when I had actually started Samurai Dent Repair, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea what opportunities were and weren't out there. You know, you hear when you start a business, oh, you can do anything and all this, which you really can, but you got to figure out what you really want to do for you and your situation and your life and all those other factors, because you really can do anything, but you just got to figure it out. And so, yeah, I ended up working actually for Dent Smart there through Tyler, and it ended up going really well. We basically did, I don't know, maybe 10 cars together, something like that. I think Tyler and I, and maybe not that many. I don't know. It's all such a blur looking back on the year, but I know afterwards I did a car with Shannon, made good relationships with everybody, and Mark Abel I spoke with and kept in touch with at Dent Smart after leaving there. And I think once all the overflow of cars died down, we just ended up having to go home. So that's why Tyler was there. So I got a call from Mark to go to this other body shop, and where a few other guys were working. 3 guys are at. And I said, well, definitely, yeah, I'll go out there. And it's about 3 hours away in Champaign from where I'm at. And I've actually been going out there every week now. And I'm actually tomorrow going to get up early in the morning and drive out there again. I'm out there with Craig Jorgensen, Keith Belke, and Jay. Gosh, and I don't know his last name because I just want to call him Jay Money, and it's a really easy last name too. It's an extremely easy last name. Maybe it's Jay Williams, but it's Jay Money to me is his name. Yeah, it's Jay Money. So because that's what Tyler Hutchins knows him, and that's what Tyler calls him, is Jay Money. So anyway, that's our little interconnected circle. But coming out to where I'm at now has been a pretty amazing thing. This body shop I'm at with these 3 guys, they when I first came there, it was really weird. Like, when you come in somewhere and all you do is everyone around you that's already there is like, hey man, hey, watch out. Don't do this when you're here, okay? And you're like, what do you mean? You just don't. don't do that. Don't say this. Don't do that. And you're like, wait, I can't. No, don't do it. Don't do it. And they're just telling you all these little things all the time. These three guys. Well, first it was only two because one guy was on vacation, but then once the third guy came back, Jay, Jay came back from his vacation, they kind of they'll have their little talks with you, and they'll be like, you can't say this, you can't do that, and I'm like, why? But then I figure out when I meet the body shop manager, uh, he doesn't take anybody's shit. I mean, if you look at him and if he says to you, hey, I see something here, this panel you worked on, you see that? If you go over there and say, no, I don't see anything, he's going to look at you and just say, get the fuck out of my shop. And yeah. And if you look at something and he's like, hey, can you do something with that? And you look at it and you're like, oh, that's factory stamping. What did you say? The factory stamping? That's no. You don't say factory stamping. No. You got to go try. You got to go work.
Yeah. So I remember you telling me about that, and I think it's a tough spot because I can respect and understand where this business owner is coming from. Like, if he's sending these cars out the door with his name on them, he wants it to be, to his level, his standard of quality, and that's completely understandable. And there's, I've seen scenarios where, the QC is a little bit over the top. I've never heard of one quite as extreme as what you're dealing with now. But I think I think in the end, like I say, I can understand and respect where you would be coming from if you own a body shop and you want nothing but perfect work. That's amazing. And that's the culture he's obviously fostered in his business, and so much so that even, the vendors coming in, whether it be PDR guys, I'm sure the glass guy that is there and whatever other vendors are coming in there, they all know you do not mess around. You do 100% high quality work at this shop, and that's commendable. I would say. Does it? I don't know. Does it make it harder to get guys in there? Maybe, but obviously he's doing well because you've been there for several months now, and you and three other techs. So you're obviously. He's got the workflow coming in, and it probably relates back to the quality that he demands. So, kudos to him, and kudos to everybody that's still there, including yourself, because I'm sure there's been some challenges along the way.
Well, yeah, I think with me, they know I'm not really anything with speed. I'm kind of that fourth guy. I don't know if there would always be a fourth guy or not, but I think they like that I can actually work on a panel and they can come out and pick on it like 3 or 4 times, however many times, and make their marks, and at least I can finish a panel, I guess, without them having to come in and fix. But I feel like lately there have been a couple panels they've had to come in and work on. I don't know. I feel like I've gone backwards, but that's just working on dents. I think, it's a mental struggle, right when you think you're doing good, then all of a sudden you feel like you just started again. And it, I don't know, but that's the joy of this whole, of doing this. It's the mental struggle, the anguish. You can relate it to so many things in life.
Yeah. Well, and every car is different. Every dent's different. And the challenges just keep coming, and like you say, what you think you got it until the next dent, and then you realize, oh crap, I don't got it, or whatever, So there's always room for growth, and anybody that says they're not done learning or they know everything, that's probably they're nearing the end. Yeah, either way.
Yeah,
So
I gotta say, the deck lids are become like I just didn't know it all when I first started, but the deck lid is one of the most challenging parts of a car to do. I've found. I really think it is. And then on a hood, I mean, I think you could just have classes. I mean, it's the deck lid's a big swooping. What do you call that surface?
what the little concave? It's got this.
Concave. There you go.
Yeah.
Concave. The swoop. So the hoods there, those concave areas that'll be sometimes up right by the cowl, sometimes at the front of the hood, and uh,
Hmm.
by the body lines. When you got some really good ones that hit in there, and sometimes knock the body line out a little bit, and you got to move all that back. Those are some of the most challenging ones, especially when the light, I mean, it can just totally screw with you, and I mean,
Oh yeah.
you can totally be
Op.
making progress, and that stops you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those concaves or convexes, whichever. I mean, they can create optical illusions and make cross-checking difficult. And just when you think you nailed it, it looks like glass in your light from all directions. But if you stand 4 feet away and look at it at one angle, you can see everything. And yeah, it'll sneak up on you for sure, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
For sure. So you've been there for several months. How long? When did you get there?
I got
October?
there the last.
September?
No, no, not man. I wish. No, I got there the last week of November.
Mm, okay. So we're pushing on 3 months.
So yeah, so I was there one week, and then they came to me and they said, "Okay, you want to stay?" And I said, "Well, yeah, okay." And then I was supposed to only stay until the new year. I was supposed to just stay all December. And then after the end of December, Keith came out and he's like, "I got some good news and bad news." And I said, "Okay, well, all right, Keith. I mean, he's like, well, what do you want? Which one? Which one?" I was like, "Give me the bad news." He's like, "All right, you still got dents to do on this hood. There's still dents." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "What's the good news?" He's like, "You're staying out here." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I don't know when I'm going to be going, but as far as I know, if they like me and relationship's good, I want to stay out there because it's the best I can be asking for. I mean, the quality I have to do, it's just it's what I've always wanted to do, I think, but it's just crazy though because it's like you're literally picking out orange peel because at the end of it, I mean, you'll have a panel that you think looks really finished, but you got to sit back and really look at it, and then because they'll come out and they're picking out all these little things and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, they're really there, but then when you're picking those out, you start picking out other things, and before you know it, you're really picking out orange peel. And it's really cool though to find yourself doing that because that means you're really understanding it and the metalworking and the intricacies of it and just those really fine tuning things that's what makes you the better tech. And I'm actually getting a chance to really do that and put in all these hours, and they're actually forcing me to do it, and that means the world to me. So it's better than being rushed. To be a good PDR tech, if you have somebody rushing you, get it done, no, I'll finish it, get it done, no, I'll finish it, you're never going to be good. But when you have somebody that lets you go and just says, no, you're going to do this, it's the best.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, when I got trained, the guy who trained me would always say, focus on quality, speed will come. But if you sacrifice quality in the beginning, you're never gonna make that back up. So to focus on quality in the beginning is huge, and to find yourself in that particular scenario that you're in now is probably the best you could ask for. I mean, you started chasing hail almost exactly 1 year ago, and you're in a way better spot. I think if you compared yourself from the first storm you did to the work you did last week, I mean, what do you? I mean, if you had to line it up and judge it, I don't know if you go 1 to 10 or however you want to say it, but I mean, how far do you think you've come in 1 year of just chasing hail?
I can just say I think that if I was at Jefferson City right now, if I came pulling in there now, the way I am now, I think I would be behind Jason Gray, and I think Jason Gray and I would be able to poke those cars up together just like Randy Hobson wanted us to, and I wouldn't have, you know, it wouldn't have been as embarrassing for me. You know what I mean? I think we would have made it through it. I mean, that was just a really tough storm, but I think I would have actually been able to fix something, and get through it. I mean, I got through the roof and the rails and that, but I needed help on a couple things, like I, just so much I didn't know then. I mean, I was afraid to, take a hatch off of a SUV when I was in Jeff City. I was like, oh man, we're taking the hatch off. I mean, when I was a technician at Toyota, I never took a hatch off. I took plenty of hoods off and doors off, but the hatch was weird for me. Now it's second nature. It's no big deal. But yeah, so many things now are easy for me, that weren't then. It's unexplainable. But again, 1 year, it does not seem like a year at all. To me,
Yeah.
I just doesn't seem like it.
Does it seem like 2 years or does it seem like 2 months?
2 years.
Okay. So
Yeah, it
just
seems more like two. Like,
a
all the
lot
stuff that I
of-
went through, like, yeah.
yeah, a lot of feedback, a lot of information crammed into your head and inside of such a short amount of time. A lot of new experiences
Yeah.
too. I mean, I don't know if did you ever travel for work before? And
No. No, I was always St. Louis. I mean, heck, I used to live 5 minutes or less from my work every day when I was a detailer. I would put, under 5,000 miles in a year on a car. And I loved cars. I would always have, some loud whatever car with a turbo or something and drive around and be an idiot. And that's where I put the miles on it, was driving around. Now, I mean, I think I've put like 15,000 miles in like 6 or 8 months on this car I got now. So
dang,
it's crazy.
hot diggity. Good thing it's a Toyota. I wonder how many
Yeah.
comments we'll get on that. Uh,
Yeah.
anyway,
Well,
so
everybody loves their Toyotas.
I think so. I think so for the most part. There's brand loyalty with all kinds of things, but
Oh, yeah.
if you had to, jeez, I'm catching my cord here, spinning my computer around. If you had to give advice to somebody, considering getting on the hail trail for the first time, maybe they're a new tech, maybe they're a more experienced tech, but they're heading out on the hail trail for the first time, 2021. They're going to chase some hail and kill it. What advice would you give them, if any?
Well, if you can push dents and you think you can handle going to all the panels on a car and getting to them and pushing the dents out, and you're comfortable with that, that's cool. But then you got to also think about the R&I, where you're at. If they don't have someone there doing it for you, can you do it? Do you have the tools to do it? That can be a really expensive mistake if you don't have the right tools, and just messing with things that you shouldn't be messing with on a car. The R&I could be a big part of it. You just got to make sure you're equipped for that, or know somebody to take with you, or go somewhere where they have someone doing it that maybe you can pay. I've heard and this is on a wholesale deal too. You might have someone that you can pay, and then body shops as well. They might be able to do the R&I for you, as long as, I guess, you got to give them some of that money. But best advice, I think it's about making good relationships in this business. It's about working for people that you can trust, because there's so many bad things I've heard happen, seen happen just in these few years that I've been here. It's your relationships. I think, things can change so quick. When you show up at a storm, you can be told something, and then before you know it all changes before your first paycheck. And it's really, really rough out there. But you can also do really well for yourself at the same time. And I think, Like I think everybody would tell you. I think I'm sure there's close-knit groups of people that aren't even online that, they all have each other's phone numbers and they know who to call when hail hits, and they get together and they make their money. And I don't blame them, because that's the way it should be. So yeah, that'd be my biggest thing, is to just know the right people. I wouldn't go out there solo. I mean, if you got the balls to do it, to just go out there with your tools and say, hey, I'm here. I know there's many, many guys that have done that and been successful. And I mean, hats off to you, but I don't know if I could do that. I just, even with having, a child and everything at home, it's just, that takes a lot to be able to do that. But again, I had a normal day-to-day job before this, so it was hard for me to think about it like I got to go. It was a big change for me, just owning my own business and then deciding to go travel around on top of it. Yeah.
It's a huge change. And, I've been pushing for whatever it is, 10, 11 years now. And this year was the first time, because of this whole COVID shenanigans, I ended up chasing hailstorm down in Houston with Dent Lion, Jason Huddleston. Shout out. Thank you, Jason. And it was a really good experience for me, because I had met him before. We met at Mega Media. We had talked off and on, like, all the time. He's a great friend. I consider him a great friend. And, when he said, I got work, you want to come? And I said, yeah. There was no question in my mind, because we had built that relationship. I knew I could trust this guy. And, not everybody is that fortunate. I mean, I've heard a lot of weird stories out there. So, but I've heard a lot of good stories. Like, you met Tyler and Cole on the Hail Trail. Is that right? You met
actually, no. No, Tyler and Cole, I actually would have met if I didn't even have the internet.
Okay. How did you meet them then?
Isn't that pretty cool? So Tyler and Cole's mom married a service advisor that worked at J. Wolf Toyota. His name's Mark Hurt. And he would always come in. So after I started pushing Dents, he would come in and be like, oh, hey, champ, I know these boys. It's my girl's boys. And, oh, man, they do this, champ. They'd be so good to just meet you. And he would always just talk them up and stuff. And one night I got a call from Mark, and I heard in the background, I heard a voice. And, I mean, it was probably a couple weeks prior to this, I watched a video of Randy Hobson with Tyler Hutchins when I think they're at some concert, and some gay guy was hitting on Tyler, and it was really funny because Tyler was just getting into it, and they were both like making these hand movements. I don't know, I can't remember now, but it was hilarious, and I'm sure some guys saw it. So I knew Tyler's voice, and also seen him on PDR interviews, and I heard him in the background. And I was like, "That's Tyler," and he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Tyler Hutchins?" I even knew his name, and yeah, that was it. I met Tyler, I mean, so I knew Tyler of him through Facebook, but either way, we were gonna meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you met him through the service advisor at the dealership you worked at. That's
how we actually first connected. Yeah, that's how we got each other's numbers. Yeah,
that's awesome, dude. So it's a small world after all. Like, and that has been invaluable, because that's how you got tied into DentSmart, correct? And
yes.
And that's where you still are. And I mean, by all accounts from talking to you, it's a good situation you're in. You're happy with everything you've been doing there. So yeah,
I definitely plan on staying where I'm at. Definitely. I don't see any reason to leave or do anything different. So definitely going to be staying with DentSmart.
It's a good gig if you can get it, as they say. So, yeah, well, so that's awesome. I just think that for a lot of guys, it's a romantic notion that you're just going to go out on the Hail Trail and kill it. And you can. and a lot of guys do. But yeah, I think knowing what you're getting yourself into is huge, and developing those relationships is huge as well. So, I don't know. Is there you know what I didn't do, Rye? I normally do a quote of the day. And I didn't even look it up. So I don't know if you have any other advice or things you want to talk about at the moment that relate to.
You know, it's just where I'm at now, doing the work I'm doing. I've seen the most intense R&I I've ever seen done. You know, like the glass roofs, and we had a Ford Raptor with the glass roof. Most people would be like, "Really, drop that? Why would you?" No, just glue pull or whatever. Well, no, we had to drop the whole glass roof and had that hanging in there, and just I don't know, pulling out whole headliners, and it's. I like doing that, you know, because I know there's still ways you can only remove a couple things, barely drop the headliner, get your work done, get it back in. But then also where I'm at, it's nice to see it get done so intricately and done right, you know, because I can also see where guys wouldn't want to be where I'm at. They wouldn't want to come to this shop. They would want to be one of those guys that he says, "Hey, fuck you, don't come back." They're like, "Thank you, I don't want to ever show up here again." You know, like I don't ever want to be called to come to this shop. You know, I can see that, but for me in my position, I need to see this. It's great to be forced to do the work I'm doing and the quality that's expected there. And like even just having to spray the cavity wax, the corrosion protection, and all the panels, and do all that. I heard that it existed, you know. I've seen people like, "Oh yeah, you charge for it," but I didn't know, you know. But
They tell tale of processes and procedures that are correct and good.
yeah,
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good quality shops out there doing things the right way, and you know, there's a lot of get it done, and I don't know, is both exist for a reason, and they'll continue to exist, and guys will.
Oh yeah, they have to. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all in all, your Hail Trail journey. I mean, was it when you first started? Was it what you thought it was going to be? What was the biggest eye opener, the biggest surprise for you?
Man, it's hard to. That's a tough question. The biggest eye opener of the whole situation. Sorry if that was all flipping around. I don't want my phone to die. Man, that's a tough one, John. Man, I've never had to think so much about the tools. No, you got me. I'm going.
Yeah.
I've never had to think so much about my tool selection on a repeated basis and how to load and unload my tools quicker and faster. I'm still extremely slow, and just because I've switched vehicles too, now I have a 4Runner from a Caravan, which a van is great. It's what you want to have, really. But I needed something to like multi-use. So anyway, I have what I have, but I'm stuck with this constant war in my head of how to load and unload as quickly as possible, and what tools to have on my cart, what not to have. And then the moment I put something away, then I need it, and it's just a constant battle, and it's almost a frustration, but it's a love. It's weird. So I don't know what your original question was, but that's one of my biggest things this whole year. I think that's never left me. You know, there's a lot of things I've been able to kind of get through on it that have, you know, been a problem or this or that. But I see some guys that seem extremely organized, and they always kind of got what they need. And I look at that and I'm like, God, how do you do it? And I compare their cart to my cart, and I got so many of the same things. And I think I'm almost there now. Like right now with my setup, I think I'm close to what I need it to be. I know the tools I have, that those are the ones I want, and then I have all my other ones I'll just put to the side, but
Oh yeah,
it takes a
oh yeah,
long time to get all that ironed out.
definitely. And the more experience you get, and then some jerk is gonna end up coming up with another tool, something new, and then you gotta completely reconfigure again. So that's a problem. But yeah. So, yeah, I think the quote of the day is gonna be never let the thought of failure stop you from reaching your dreams. And I know that early in your career, when you first left Jay Wolf, I don't know if I should be saying their name, but I know you had some struggles,
I don't
and
care.
I know you pushed through them, and I just I commend you for that. It's inspiring for me. It should be inspiring for anybody coming up. Like, it's not gonna be sunshine and rainbows, and you watch a Bryce Kelly video, and you're not gonna be there. You're not gonna be there
Yeah.
tomorrow. Probably none of us are, but understanding that those pain points are gonna be there, and being able to work through them, I think, is so huge for so many guys. And I think it's good that we talk about that kind of thing, and let guys know that that's okay. You're going to have the failures along the way, and you're going to make it through. But you got to have the right attitude, and you got to push forward. And I'm glad I got to see you do all of that, and I'm glad I've been able to know you through the whole thing, and it's just cool, man. So props to you
Oh
for
well,
that.
thanks, John. Also, a big eye opener too is the just the love of the people that I met along the year. The more I think about that question, like I was saying earlier, there's some, I'm sure, less than desirable people that you want to meet up there, but there's also, I mean, some of the most amazing people, and a lot of them I've only met, last year at MTE, maybe in passing, or we talked for a moment or something. But there's so many. I mean, I can't even think of everybody's names. Like Zandy Bob, I forgot to mention. He
Oh,
came
Zandy.
by over the year. He gave me some square root beer tabs that were stolen in Texas. That's another funny story. But
Before we
anyway,
get past Zandy, let me just say, get you a biscuit, boy. Get you a biscuit. I love that dude. I
yeah,
love that dude.
I hope he hears that. But it was just a great year, and just so many guys, so much love, and it was just a great time.
Yeah. So many cool guys in this industry. I would echo that, and have all the way through, man. It was awesome to get to hang out with you. We got to hang out. We hung out at the Real World Seminar, Branson, MTE, and yeah, tons of fun every time, and
Yeah.
tons of good guys all the way around. Like, I couldn't even. The list I would have to go through would take me forever. But yeah, so many awesome
Mm-hmm.
guys along the way, and I would tend to agree with that for sure. So I don't know, man. We're getting close here. We're a little over an hour at this point, and kind of try to keep it around there for everybody. Is there anything I forgot or anything else you want to bring up that I'm missing here?
No. Nothing I can think of really. Um, I'll talk about anything, but I don't want to get off on a tangent here. So I think we're good. I
Yeah.
basically told you about the whole year. If I start talking about tools, this will go a whole
Oh
other
yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
So
Wow. I'm sure we'll have some all tool shows here in the future, but yeah, for now I think we will let everybody wrap their heads around a year in the life of a first year hail chaser, and try to imagine what that might be like for them if they're first year guys, and if they're grizzled vets, they're probably reminiscing on the days of old. And either way, we got another hail season coming, and I hope everybody has a great one, and I hope hail falls at opportune times, at the perfect size, and in the perfect areas. So.
And I also want to say, just to anybody that is going to go out there and start, like if they're wondering or anything, I kind of did have to basically ride everybody's coattails that I was with the entire time and pray to God I had somebody that was going to help me get through it. And in terms of money, it's not like I made a killing at all or anything, but I mean, I made it through it and I'm here, but it's the experience you're out there for in the beginning. It's what you're really trying to get is find somebody you can trust and get the experience. And you've really got to ride their coattails and thank them. But that's the best advice I can give. But
yeah. And I think you have been super complimentary of a lot of guys, Tyler and Cole and Casper, and a lot of the guys that you had the opportunity to work with. And yeah, it's a good thing. And Spencer down there in Louisiana. So a lot of you've run across a lot of good guys, and it doesn't surprise me necessarily because there's a lot of good guys in the industry. So,
definitely.
Yeah, super cool. All right, well, I think we're gonna wrap it up at this point. And
Alrighty.
if anybody's got questions, follow Dent Guy Rye on Instagram at Dent Guy Rye. Still, right?
Oh yeah, it's still there.
All right.
I haven't posted in a long time. I need to get back to that, but
Well, you're busy. You're busy getting the supreme quality done, so it's understandable. But yeah.
Yeah, none of my work looks good to me anymore.
You'll get there, brother. You'll get there. It was good before, and I'm sure it's even better now. But all right, we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks again, everybody, for listening, and don't forget, live your dreams. Just wanted to thank you for listening to another episode of Dents and Dreams. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, compliments, or complaints, I can be reached at Dent Reaper across social media. And be sure to subscribe to the Dents and Dreams Facebook group and or YouTube channel, because that's where it'll happen if and when we go live. Thanks again.